awesome. I mean, technically, the video that you sent me about the hostages and Jim Foley, I watched the clip that you sent me, but that wasn't made by you, but you were
No,
featured in it, and
that
and
was a
you
story I couldn't
conducted
make.
some
I
interviews.
was in a
Yeah.
because I was going to make a documentary, but it was a bit too close to home, and
Mm,
so I interviewed
gotcha.
uh, the terrorists who kidnapped the 23
Oof.
Westerners, and they're from London. So that was
Yeah,
weird. You talk
that's
about,
wild.
when you talk about Islamic extremism, I went to Syria. They'd been
Yeah.
captured by the Kurdish, who were being held.
Oh wow.
But I'm meeting two Londoners,
Yeah.
and it was a strange warmth. Well, not warmth, but a kind of, you're meeting fellow Londoners. It's like being in the middle of nowhere, far away country, and you're meeting someone from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
There's an
Super
immediate
surreal.
warmth and swapping like, oh, what part of
Familiarity.
London? And I'd been told, whatever you do, don't make it personal. They hadn't
Mm.
confessed to being the Beatles. Well,
Ah.
they vaguely at that point admitted, but said they had nothing to do with the kidnap, and especially nothing to do with the murder of any of the hostages. And I went there as a journalist, but obviously hoping against hope they might say something to incriminate themselves. But I was told by all my journalist friends, whatever you do, don't make it personal. Don't let them know you're a friend of Jim Foley's.
Mm.
But it was the least professional. It's all filmed, and it was in that it's a Danish documentary called The Hostage Takers. They showed clips, but
Yeah.
it was like, okay, so I walk in, and couldn't help myself. I sit down, shake the hand of one of these guys who I'd read all the reports, including FBI reports, how he'd personally tortured 23 people, including my friend Jim. I shake his hand, and I said, look, I might as well tell you this now. It was a bit like not being able to tell my name children. This is just something overcame me. And I said, look, I might as well
Yeah.
say this now. Your good friend, Muhammad and Wazi, Jihadi Johnny was called. He beheaded my good friend, James Foley. And we are shaking hands. And the strangest thing happened. This guy, who wasn't remorse, he inflicted so much trauma on other people. He's carrying that trauma with him. I could feel it come through his arm that I know I'm shaking the hand of the man who I knew a lot of instances what he'd done, choke holding Jim till he passed out, and this strange sensation is coming. He didn't want to shake my hand, but I wouldn't let it go. And it's a strange thing with trauma. Those who inflicted pain on others, he was off burdening, so he confessed to me.
Mm.
Now the other guy, I'd interview them
Wow.
separately. He went the other way. It became very aggressive, and we ended up almost having a fight. So
Wow.
one I'm sort of, he's shedding tears and we're kind of embracing, and the other one we're getting into a fight. But yeah, so I couldn't really make that film, but that interview I did there, it was over like 3 days, 25 hours, and they confessed, and
Wow.
actually ended up in court in America,
Mm-hmm.
and my interview was shown in court. They're now in jail in
Wow.
America.